the Volkswagen T-Roc. Last time, when we had the preview, we were talking to Volkswagen and they told us that this is apparently a competitor to the Dacia Duster. So, you'd expect it to be cheap, have all-wheel drive, and have lots of hard plastics inside, so it's easy to clean. But none of these things are true. I'm not really sure why they're saying all these things, but what this car reminds me more of a competitor to is the Mazda CX-3, because it's a little more luxurious, looks nice. And here's an interesting thing. I think this is better than the Mazda CX-3, this bottom part, because in the Mazda you've got almost like a shelf. So if you go off-road, you're going to start, well, digging stuff up. But that doesn't really matter, does it? Because people who buy these cars don't actually take them off-road. Most of them buy the two-wheel versions, like this one. T-Roc owners might not be interested in its name either. The letter T for Tiguan's and Touareg's DNA, while ROC stands for the word rock without the T. Maybe it's a typo. First things first, the car, especially with its rear and brake lights, reminds me of the Porsche Macan. The front daylight LEDs and blinkers positioned under the main headlights make it look really cool. I like the alloys on the test model. The more basic versions only have steel rims, and if you're the more adventurous type, you can get ones with blue or orange highlights. Almost all T-Roc colors have the roof in a different shade, which is nice and livens the whole car up. The rear LED lights look modern, while the rear view camera will hide under the Volkswagen badge if it's picked as an extra. Even though this is a, well, practically a Polo on steroids, there's actually quite a lot of legroom space. I'm 180 centimeters and I was sitting here at the front and set up my chair and I still have lots of space. So even if someone taller, let's say 190 centimeters would be sitting here, it would still be fairly comfortable. If the T-Roc is so interesting outside, it's a little more boring inside. Yes, this is a more basic model, so you could also swap the instruments for digital ones, get GPS navigation, automatic transmission, leather seats, and so on. And you get the German meticulousness. Everything is where you'd expect it, and you won't find yourself looking for buttons, even though there's no mute button on the steering wheel. Comfy seats can be wrapped in textiles or leather, while heating is also available, which was unfortunately absent in the test car. T-Roc offers 2 or all-wheel drive. The petrol engines encompass a 3-cylinder 1 liter with 85 kilowatts or 115 horsepower, a 1.5 liter with 110 kilowatts or 150 horses, and a 2 liter with 140 kilowatts or 190 horses. Only a 110 kilowatt diesel is available at the moment, soon to be joined by a 190 horsepower one. what does T-Roc feel like on the road? Surprisingly comfortable. Considering it's a mini SUV that rides a little higher off the ground, it does a good job at dulling a bad road surface. Sitting and driving this T-Roc is actually quite interesting and a little bit funny. And that's because if you watched my video of the Seat Ibiza, which I had, that was a car with a 3-cylinder, 95 horsepower engine. And I thought, ooh, that's not going to be enough. But after driving it for a while, it was actually quite adequate, quite nice. It was actually sprightly when you push the throttle all the way. And when I returned the Ibiza, I picked up this T-Roc, the test model. And funny thing, it also has a 3-cylinder 1-liter engine, but with one exception, and it has 20 horsepower more. Instead of 95, this one has 115. And I thought, before seeing the horsepower, I thought to myself, 3 cylinders for a T-Roc, it's a bigger car, it's a crossover, so it has less, it's less aerodynamic. Not sure that's gonna be too great. But again, just like the Ibiza, after driving it, it's quite nice in the city because you can keep the revs very low at like 1,300 RPMs, and so it's very quiet. Whoops, it's very quiet and unintrusive. But if you want to go faster, I do apologize about this. If you want to go faster, you can, and it actually goes quite well. And with goes quite well, of course, I mean, I don't constantly have a yearn for more power. It's lovely. So I guess the era of shaking your head at 3-cylinder engines is coming to an end. Maybe. Unless, of course, a V6 or a V8 is available. The base T-Roc starts at 19,000 euros, while the top-of-the-line one with the most powerful petrol engine, automatic gearbox and all-wheel drive will cost you a cool 43,000 euros.